things and not finding many answers, particularly in practical ways. After he left, I had a flash about my first years in business, trying to scratch a living as a young stockbroker. My ambition then, in the early 1960s, was to make a $6 commission before lunch. My share would be 1/3, or $2. I figured that $2 would pay for lunch, and whatever I made in the afternoon would be gravy. Before I had launched this career, I mentioned to my father that I was considering business school. "You've been in school long enough," he said. "Time to go to work." Like the young man knocking on my door, I knew little or nothing about so much. And now I was out in life, a stranger in a strange world, wondering and worrying about almost everything, including, would anyone ever love me? Would I ever get married? Now I feel like I'm almost back at those beginnings long ago. My wife of 45 years, Susan, died of lung cancer in June of 2011. We were all alone in our house, looking out of our bedroom at sailboats, white against blue, rushing into harbor. "It's late, isn't it?" she asked, coming in and out of morphine-assisted sleep. Those were her last words to me. For years in my marriage, I counseled Susan about things to watch for after I got hit by the big bus in the sky. Things such as, anything anyone wants to do for you, who can't explain themselves in a few simple paragraphs, should not be hired to help you. Anything that seems like BS to you probably is. And you have to reach out to friends, not automatically assume that everyone is always going to call you. Of course, everything you plan for almost never happens the way you plan. It may be better than you anticipated, but it won't be as you thought or feared. The first New Year's Eve I spent without her in 45 years was in 2011. That night, I was invited to dinner at an old friend's apartment in Boston, only about a mile from where I live, a walkable distance on the chilly, clear night. There is a grand fireworks display every New Year's Eve on Boston Common, where cows grazed during Revolutionary War times. It has been estimated that as many as 1 million people poured into the city to watch the show and stay for first-night festivities. Mostly free performances for all the family, all over the city. I walked from my house 2 blocks to Charles Street, a long thoroughfare bisecting the Common from the public garden. Hundreds of thousands streaming toward the fireworks site. I said to myself, how typical of my life. Everyone moving toward the brilliant explosions. And me, moving in the opposite direction. Even thinking, I care much more about watching people's faces than seeing the sky lit up by fire. All of this, in my view, is part of the grief process. We were married for 45 years. But if anything is ever good in life, it's never long enough. One of the themes in our marriage was always, after various pronouncements on my part, Susan would respond with, "Grow up." Let's face it, women are the adults. Men are programmed to go out, kill the brontosaurus, and bring home the steaks. And men habitually believe they're frozen in time at 18, despite all the signs to the contrary. I never even looked back at the fireworks, happy to go against the grain. But I rejected all the cliches, such as, she's in a better place. I don't think so. Or, life goes on. I say, define life. Of course, I was feeling sorry for myself, and not proud of it. The crowd pushed against me, families oohing and aahing with every explosion of sparkling lights, excited by the show. Warmed in the freezing night, staying close to strangers. Later that winter, I went to a birthday party for a high school classmate. One of the guests was a man, a doctor with a reputation of being the best internist in Boston, smart and caring. I knew that he had lost his wife some years before and had remarried. After dinner, he came up to me and said, "I'm so sorry about Susan." Of course, we had heard. "If you don't mind, I'd like to tell you a little story." "Sure," I answered. "After my first wife died," the doctor said, "it was obviously very hard. And then I threw myself into work, buried myself in it. One day, a patient came in to see me. An older Italian woman who still spoke with an accent after years in this country and always wore a black dress. She gave me her condolences, went through her examination, then left. After about 10 minutes later, she appeared in the office again. "Just a minute more of your time, please," she said. Something I